This isn't just an episode, it's a showcase of impact. There were some learnings experiences we haven't been through, but we're hearing them the real deal. And it's like a bulb.
It wasn't definitely a platform just to interview people. It was a platform to connect people together.
So there's so many even personal learnings for us, I think. There was a lot of parenting stories.
My daughter was attending, and after we were done, she came to me full of emotions and she said, "Dad, I didn't know any of this.
Wow.
I'm proud of you."
That everybody has an incredible journey. Everyone has a different story. A story that needs to be shared, a story that needs to be told.
When you heard the stories of the leaders, the failures, the journeys they went through, the persistence, a lot of it is not obvious. And when they share those stories, you realize that the making of a leader is not easy.
I think that is exactly the spirit of the leaders. That's the spirit of 2030 leaders. Welcome to a very special chapter of 2030 Leaders Mic podcast, where we bridge the past and the future. Today, we're looking back on a journey that began with a bold idea, infused with passion, inspired by uncommon leaders, that has grown into a Seeked podcast about experiences, hardships, and mindsets of leaders shaping the kingdom's future. Central to our journey is MISC's 2030 Leaders Program, a world-class leadership development initiative that nurtures visionary Saudi leaders, essential to realizing Vision 2030. And the Saudi Leaders Society's endorsement has given 2030 Leaders Mic credibility and momentum. This isn't just an episode, it's a showcase of impact, learnings, and connections. It's a tribute to the co-host, the supporting leaders that believed in the bold idea, got out of their comfort zone, and joined me in the 2030 Leaders Mic journey. We are all MISC 2030 Leader Program graduates from different cohorts and members of the Saudi Leaders Society, embodying the real meaning of leaders' collaborations and trust. I'm truly grateful to your belief and contributions, and could not have done it without you. All 7 leaders that are very well known, but for the context, allow me to introduce them all. Hanan Al-Saif, a strategist and transformation leader with a focus on change management and culture transformation, with over 16 years of experience across healthcare, education in the public and private sectors. Hanan is passionate about human behavior in times of change and is currently focusing her PhD studies on this topic. She also serves as the Managing Director and Country Manager for ZRG Partners in Saudi Arabia, a talent advisor group based in the USA. More importantly, she's a dedicated wife and mother of 4 beautiful children. Abdullah Shamrani, an experienced C-suite leader and trusted advisor with a proven track record of guiding organizations through complex digital transformations, passionate about harnessing both mature and emerging technologies, including advanced AI techniques. He excels at building strong ecosystem partnerships that drive competitive advantage and help organizations reach their full potential. Manal Al-Magoushi, a strategic leader with 20 years of experience in higher education, international relations, and program development. She is a strong advocate for social impact, inclusion, and disability rights, contributing to national initiatives and community development, including roles in sports committees. She is also very passionate about nature and outdoor activities. Mohammed Madani, accomplished senior executive with 18+ years of cross-industry experience, spanning sports, mobility, transportation, FMCG, F&B, manufacturing, and petrochemicals. Currently serving as CFO and Vice President of Strategy and Business Development at the Saudi Automobile and Motorcycle Federation, with a proven track record as CFO of the Saudi Pro League, recognized by driving large-scale transformations, shaping national programs, and delivering sustainable growth. A finance-savvy, strategy-driven leader with strong business acumen, governance expertise, and the ability to align organizations with Vision 2030 objectives. We also want to take a moment to thank 3 incredible co-hosts who couldn't join us today, but your impact and contributions will always be part of Leaders Mic story. Ziad Organji, a creative leader, a brand advisor with over 22 years of experience in brand building, leading the brand strategies of Saudi Gigas projects and destinations, working with government, private sector, and NGOs. An award winner and author of the first Arabic branding book series, Al-Isam, sharing his knowledge and inspiring students through workshops in over 7 countries and 13 cities. Noor Al-Jindi, a passionate academic change leader with experience in both the corporate world and business education. She has transformed programs, built partnerships, and connected Saudi universities to global platforms, empowering over hundreds of youth and young professionals to excel in their careers. Ahmed Hakim, a seasoned professional with over 26 years of experience in program management, operational excellence, and driving commercial growth, a strategic thinker and engaging communicator. He's led corporate communications that strengthened organizational reputation locally and internationally. Yani, wow, what a team. And what a journey we had. We shared a roller coaster of emotions, of experiences, of aha moments, of so many yani, different journeys maybe for each one of us as well. So if you allow me, I'm going to start by asking each one a question, and then we'll have general questions where we'll turn it into a discussion. So I'll start with Hanan. Hanan, what inspired you to step into the role of co-hosting 2030 Leaders Mic?
Honestly, Dina, it wasn't difficult. I mean, when you called me and we had that conversation for many reasons. Mainly, I think being part of the program and looking at and just having a wonderful experience, incredible capabilities of the leaders that were in the program. In the classroom setup, we had a chance to meet a few, and through the different projects that we had, we were able to connect with a smaller group and so on. But you can tell, on spot that everybody has an incredible journey. Everyone has a different story, a story that needs to be shared, a story that needs to be told. So, as I mentioned to you, it wasn't difficult to jump in the role. It was more of, okay, am I fit for it? Can I do it? It's getting out of my comfort zone. All of these different things were on my mind in the beginning. But absolutely, I think once we jumped in, and I was very fortunate to have Abdullah as my colleague in this journey, it was an incredible experience for many reasons. Getting to know the team, getting to know the different leaders, their different stories, having different experiences with the cam, with the lighting, all of that. It was truly an experience that I reflect on, and I know I personally have learned a lot from the different leaders that we had the opportunity and the pleasure of interviewing during those few months.
Amazing. We're going to tap back onto that. Before we tap on that, I'm going to ask Abdullah, in what ways do you feel this platform has made a real difference for you, for the guests, and for the audience?
Thank you, Dina. You gave a very long introduction for each of the co-hosts, but it's probably a small token to say thank you for establishing this platform for all of us to be here as hosts, and for all the people who were guests as well. It wasn't definitely a platform just to interview people. It was a platform to connect people together.
Yeah.
And this is the biggest attractor for me as a host to this initiative. And it was the biggest takeaway as well, from this whole engagement. Throughout the engagement itself, I was fortunate to meet a lot of people, including my co-host colleagues, Hanan, Manal, Muhammad, and others as well, and have learned a lot of lessons from the people that we've met, whether I personally hosted or whether my colleagues have hosted. And we discovered actually and reaffirmed that we have common grounds that are not really unique to any of us. Yes, maybe the journeys are different, the lessons that we've gone through are different, but the commonality that we share are far beyond the differences that we might have. So this is something that we pride ourselves to take away from this platform, and this is something that we pride ourselves to see in the upcoming period, inshallah.
Inshallah, yeah. Thank you. Manal, what's a story or a situation you can share that left you thinking differently about leadership?
That's a good question. So I think it was the opportunity when I was part of the audience and then when I came on as a co-host. It was what you see on LinkedIn, what you see on the outside was so different when you heard the stories of the leaders, the failures, the journeys they went through, the persistence. A lot of it is not obvious. And when they share those stories, you realize that the making of a leader is not easy. And that it's not just a cookie cutter or one path. And I think that was the beauty of the 23 Leaders Mic, of being a part of it, is having the opportunity to sit with different leaders and to hear that story and how they got to where they are and to learn from it.
Yeah, I think it's about all the falls and the mistakes. And yeah, thank you. Muhammad, what's the biggest skill or insight you gained from this experience?
Connecting with people.
Connecting.
So the way I took it, whenever I had to interview someone, I took the time to sit with them and to get to know them, know where they're coming from, what do they believe in, start pitching for this interview. In some cases, whatever I planned in terms of time, it superseded. Like one of the preparations, I planned to sit with someone for an hour. We sat for 4 hours.
Yeah.
So we got to know each other. We became friends.
Yeah.
But the thing is, the more we get into it, the more we want to know more.
Yeah.
So I think, connecting with, knowing how to connect with them.
Yeah. So, you know, we all had the experiences. We had anxiousness maybe in the beginning. We had trying to, you know, make the episode as well orchestrated as possible. But then at the same time, there was this genuinity, I think, that we all shared, right? Yani, there was the spontaneity of hearing the stories. So you tapped on, you know, the different experiences, and you tapped on the journeys of the people, and you tapped on how their struggles, actually, that you don't see on LinkedIn, as you said, you know? So if I would ask all of us then, what's a moment from the show that you think perfectly represents the spirit of a 2030 leader?
It's a great question. If I can jump in.
Go ahead.
I'll add a bit to what Muhammad mentioned, which I really appreciate, about taking the time to really get to know the leaders before the interview, because Dina, keep in mind, a lot of them, it's probably the first time for them they get interviewed. And it's something that once it goes public, you can't pull it back again. So a lot of thinking, a lot of preparation to make sure that they are represented in the way that makes them comfortable.
Yeah.
But to follow up on your question, I would say it was a mix of, once you can tell when the leader is comfortable and they just become natural, and it's usually probably 10 minutes into the interview.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Yeah, and then the questions also start to just come up natural. I mean, you have a whole set of questions set, and then you notice the interview just takes you a different direction. I think that's the beauty of it. Is it's very impromptu.
Yes.
It's very natural.
Yes.
And alhamdulillah, I think most of the interviews, most of the experiences, actually I'd like to say all of them, 10, 15 minutes in, they're themselves, it's natural, and we get to see this incredible individual share their story in the way that they want it to be presented to the rest of the world.
I think the beauty of the 2030 leaders, a lot of them are in a position now where they're mentors, they're giving back. So I think part of it is having the platform with the leader's mic, is that they show vulnerability in truly telling their story.
Yeah.
So not the pretty one,
Yeah.
but that these were the pitfalls.
Yeah.
This was the failures, and a lot of them, the strength of just showing that this was my true journey.
Yeah.
And it provides such value, I think, to the newer generation of understanding that it's not an easy journey.
True. True.
And to understand
Sure, I
hard
agree.
work
Yeah.
in the face of a lot of obstacles, will inshallah get you to where you want to be, where you're meant to be.
You know, I think also something that we all realized, everybody had obviously their falls and their drops and their challenges and all of that, and they have the perseverance. And you know, we were talking before, we were reflecting, and we were saying how they have the similarities, and as you said, Abdullah, the leaders, how they're similar in certain traits, right? The different journeys, but they're traits that we realized during our journeys as hosts with them, and talking with them before and talking with them after. Yani, there are there are standard specifications, if you want, or
There is a pattern.
there's a pattern. There's a pattern, and each one is from a different background, different experience, different environment. Yet there was a pattern. Can we share on this?
Absolutely. I mean, you allow me. One of the things that we notice as a pattern is that the leadership making process often is perceived as an evolutionary sort of process. So it is a step by step. People go to school, they excel, they get top grades, then they go to their jobs, work their selves out, and assume key positions from early on.
By the way, in some cases, it's the total opposite.
And this is what I was
Yes.
going to say.
Yes.
Actually, this is the typical, let's say, understanding or perception about what leaders, and how to make leaders. But a lot of, in certain, let's say, discussions and interviews and get to know, some of the leaders, we discovered the total opposite.
Yeah.
It's a revolutionary sort of process rather than an evolutionary sort of process.
Yes.
And this instilled the idea of radical change.
Yeah.
At a point of time, a wake-up call comes and people are able to completely change and shift gear towards something that maximizes their impact far beyond anything that they would hoped for or planned for. And this is definitely a lesson for the youth.
Yeah.
Not just for the youth, even for the established leaders.
Yeah.
I mean, at a point of time, you are speeding in a specific road. You could take an exit point towards something better,
Yeah. Yeah.
instead of thinking that you need to continue on the same route.
Well, Abdullah, to this point, honestly, me as a person, I had many points in my journey, my personal journey, where I doubted myself. I wasn't sure, am I doing this right? ولا أنا قاعد أجيب العيد ولا, really meeting other leaders, it actually gave me, like a comfort of realization that, okay, all these mistakes that I've done actually, and all, the learnings that I went through and all the hardships, and everyone else also has such a journey, and it's okay. And that's actually how we became leaders.
Absolutely.
And how every leader was shaped one way or another, but it was exactly through that.
Absolutely.
And that honestly gave me, Anna personally, gave me confidence, to my journey.
Yeah.
Because there were some parts that maybe I felt a bit ashamed of, this company that I started up was a disaster, and it closed, and it failed, and I considered it an embarrassment. I realized later, during, and from the reflecting from all the other leaders, that it's okay. Actually, that's how we learned.
Absolutely.
So I think each one
the-
of us had also a reflection and a learning
Maybe,
that
yeah.
we gained.
The saying that says, what doesn't break you will make you stronger,
Will make you stronger.
is a true manifestation for
Yeah.
this realization.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's
Yeah.
And the
it is-
stories,
it
the
is
stories
very
help
true.
is showing that maybe a lot of people had that opportunity, but in the face of failure, in the face of whatever it may be of an obstacle, maybe many people had that same choice, but there are those that were brave enough to take that next step.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, the fascination of hearing the stories.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
So
when it
building
comes
on
to-
all what you've just said, it's not only the people that we've interviewed, each one of us. If you look at all the episodes, you can relate. There is a clear message, almost from all the episodes. It's okay to make mistakes.
It's okay.
It's totally okay.
Yeah.
It's a message to the new generations, okay?
Yeah.
And this is
Yeah.
one of the beauty outputs of the
100%.
platform.
Yeah.
We're voicing over to the new generations, telling them, we're leaders. We weren't born this way,
Yeah.
okay? We
Yeah.
went through hardship.
Yeah.
That's one thing. So the other thing is, it's the beauty of the selection process. One of the things that we got to know is that none of us is perfect.
Yeah.
So we came together into this program. Each cohort has 90 people. All of them are different, but all of them are not perfect.
Absolutely, and certain traits, you mentioned, there were certain traits that were common grounds, as Abdullah was saying. I would say two that really stood out, not just, through leaders, Mike, and through even all the different leaders that we've met within the program. It's really perseverance, to push, to keep going, and then resilience. And resilience only gets built every time you fall and fail, and you're able to pick up again. I think that was something that everyone in the program could relate to.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
and just the fact that every single one of us, was very comfortable and very confident to say, yeah, I failed 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 times to reach where I am today. And I think that's the lesson that
Yeah.
future generations
Yeah.
need to really understand, because with what's happening around the world and social media, everything looks to be so perfect,
صح.
and you don't really know what's happening in the
صح.
back.
صح.
It's
صح.
not perfect, and they
It's
need to
not.
understand that in order for you to be a leader, you need to fail several times and pick up, and it's how you pick up. You
Yeah.
either pick up with strength,
Yes.
or you pick up where you're not fit for it.
Yes.
And you're the person who makes the decision in the end,
Yeah,
where you
I
find
like
yourself.
that. It's really about how you pick up.
Yeah.
And not
absolutely.
looking at it as failure. We have that word, but the failure is a lesson, and it's
a
an
lesson.
invaluable lesson.
Yes.
And I think later on we started to appreciate that, yes, maybe at the time a lot of us, that embarrassment, that
Yeah.
something happened, oh, it didn't work out.
Yeah.
But knowing that, on the contrary, I became better
Yeah.
for it, and I changed.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a learning
Yeah.
process.
Yeah.
I mean, without going through this process, you will never learn, and you will not
True.
get to the lessons that you just mentioned.
True. I think also from the learnings as us as hosts, running an interview or the pre-interview, or even listening to the other interviews that happened on 2030 Leaders Mike, there were some learnings that experiences we haven't been through, but we're hearing them, the real deal, and it's like a bulb, like, okay, I'm actually about to embark in something similar, and you've heard this horrible mistake, right? And we're learning, okay, that's, noted. I would probably have stumbled into the same mistake. Thank you for sharing that, because now I will, I'll be careful, I'll do it differently, I will, the adjustment. So there were a lot of learnings for us on things that we did not experience yet, but are about to, or going to embark in. It's a new venture, it's a new kind of job, it's a new, whatever it is. And there was also a lot of even parenting. There was a lot of parenting stories and related, whether how they were parented, right, as they were growing up, or had they also then ended up parenting their children, right? And there was a lot of these learnings. So there were so many even personal learnings for us, I think.
No, I agree. I think maybe that was, as you said, there were the leaders and the selection processes that were coming so many different fields.
Yeah.
So many different backgrounds, whether it's private, it's corporate, it's education, whatever it may be. It's this amazing opportunity to see how the same situation is viewed differently from different people. And that definitely helps our outlook.
Okay, so what was an aha moment? As specific, let's go specific. What was an aha moment?
So for all the people I interviewed, I had a question about what did they get out of the program. Every single one referred to the network. The network that was built from the program, and they stated it clearly during that platform. It's the network, the people they met, the families they created out of the program, brothers and sisters. So that clicked with me. So it's not only me coming from my cohort, it's actually every single one.
Yeah.
In fact, Muhammad, always when I get asked from people who are not part of the leadership 2030 Leaders Program, they always ask, so what was the best experience or what was the best gain? And you're absolutely on spot. Not just from within, but even externally. Like the image, I think, that has come out of 2030. I mean, it's because of the program we're together, but in reality, it's the network that was connected.
Right.
And just the incredible, endless opportunities,
Yeah.
whether they were business, whether they were, you know, consulting, whatever it was,
Very
that
true.
emerged because of this
Very true.
network. And it still is, and it
Yeah.
continues.
And it continues.
mashallah, and the numbers are growing,
Yes.
and it's only getting better.
Yes,
Mashallah.
yes, well, absolutely.
And maybe related to this, but from a different angle. I mean, one of the things that struck me during this whole program and this whole engagement was how different we are, but
Similar.
how able we are to connect and communicate.
Yeah.
Because we are strong individuals, very opinionated, very
True.
strong
Very
personalities.
true.
You know,
Very true.
Stubborn.
These sort of,
Sometimes.
let's say,
Sometimes.
traits,
The good kind of stubborn.
these sort of traits and features often
Yeah.
create frictions.
You're right. You're
However,
right. Yeah.
however, in many cases, if not all the cases,
Yeah.
they were actually part of the positive friction rather
Yeah.
than the negative friction.
Yeah.
So even though you have a strong, really strong opinion that is different than mine, and I have very strong opinion that is different than yours, we're able to get together and negotiate and discuss and, you know, reach a common point so that we can collaborate and move the ship forward in
Wallah.
whatever that we have. This is
Absolutely.
a big realization that was created throughout this whole engagement.
Spot on. I think that is exactly the spirit of the leaders.
Yeah.
That's the spirit of 2030 leaders. Yani, spot on. That's exactly how they're able to, you know, become friends, collaborate, understand each other, and respect.
Yeah.
I think respect, because we understand what it means to be a leader. We really understand what it means to be a leader. We understand what it means, that what have you had to go through, and how much do you have on your plate right now?
Yeah.
It's a toll.
Yeah.
So there is respect, a default respect for that. So I think the tolerance then also becomes very high, and the friction gets less.
Maybe just to add to that, Abdullah, it's like we're speaking the same language, but coming from different worlds. It was so
Yeah.
interesting. And part of it is I think we're all in for the vision. We all had the same passion.
صح.
We knew that the selection process wasn't easy.
صح.
We knew that, you know, we all had gone through those 5-6 interviews and all of that stuff to reach this point. So there was so much gratitude.
And exams. And
Exactly. There was so much appreciation and gratitude to being part of that.
Yes.
So part of it was, we all came from different worlds, but we spoke the same language. We have the same vision that we're all passionate about. I think that really helped everyone be very comfortable with it. With
I want to add
each
one more
other.
thing. Another aha moment. When I was interviewed, and I will reflect on that in a minute. My daughter was attending, and after we were done, she came to me full of emotions, and she said, "Dad, I didn't know any of this. I'm proud of you." The point I'm trying to make is the platform gave us an opportunity to speak about things, stories that are not usually told.
True.
We shared some experiences that made us the people we are.
Yeah.
I don't remember a time where I talked about those experiences the same way I talked about them in the platform.
I think that's what makes 2030 Leader Mike's unique. Again, it was the genuinity. It's as you said, yani, first of all, we're speaking to each other. You know, it's same mindsets, same, you know, leaders discussing with leaders. So there is this default respect, and there's this default comfort that happens, and the genuine stories come out, and the real deal comes out. So I'm going to ask each one of you to tell me your most يعني, high-peaked feeling that you had in the first session you ever hosted.
Do I get a pass?
No, you don't. Yalla, you go first, Mama.
No,
You go first.
I need to remember. Starts with Hanan. She was
Yeah.
senior to us.
يلا.
Wallahi, interesting question. I'm getting the emotions now, actually, Dina. But I remember it wasn't here. It was in a different setup. Remember, Abdullah?
Yeah,
It was. I think we did one
تنفس.
episode there. تنفس. Yeah, Allah يعطيهم العافية. And then we came here.
Yes.
But I remember very panicky, very nervous, and just trying to really do my best to make sure that this leader is out, comes out of this interview extremely happy. I think just the stress of that was one of the things that was continuously on my mind in that experience. And then the camera and the lighting and the voice. So I think it was just a first time experience. It was a bit shaky.
Yeah.
And then second and third, it became much
more comfortable.
Yeah, much more comfortable.
What about you, Abdullah?
No, I fully agree with you. With Hanan, Manal told me just earlier that first
Because it didn't show.
First interview was a bit stiff, and probably she's right. Because you want to be really serious and try to represent the people that you're hosting, the guests that you're trying to interview in the best way possible. There's no room for mistakes, but you have this feeling in the beginning because you probably prepared, then it comes a little bit natural throughout the process. It becomes more relaxing as you go through the interviews. But the first one was definitely more difficult compared to others, and you can sense, a lot of, all the hosts are well-spoken people.
Yeah, obviously, everybody's well-spoken.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
It's different
But
being a host, and as you
being
said,
a
with
host
the
is
cameras
different.
and the lighting, and
Absolutely.
you want, as you said, Hanan, you want your guests to shine in the best way, and you feel this responsibility.
Absolutely.
You feel responsible to that.
It's
Manan,
like,
what was your?
It's like breathing from a diver mask within the ocean itself.
Yeah.
It's not your natural place.
True,
But
true.
you cope.
True.
Well, as I was said, yes, it was in the beginning. There was maybe, because I was there at the first one. I think with both of you, though, it was so fascinating, and it was such a great setting, and it was such great sessions. The first, yes, it was still the beginning, but I don't think it showed once it was on camera. Because then again, the stories are so engaging with both of you as you spoke to the guests. So as the audience member, it was very enjoyable.
Okay.
And I learned from it. I think that was maybe the benefit of coming as a co-host later on,
Right.
is watching them.
Right.
And then seeing how they asked questions, how they dealt with moving from one topic to another. If,
Right.
maybe it was a little bit less nerve-wracking because I wasn't the first, but the starting it. But of course, being in front of cameras and then again bearing that responsibility for asking questions. So I kind of just ignored everything and said, you know what, I'm just having a conversation with somebody.
Yeah. You switched the mindset.
Yeah, absolutely.
Amazing.
I will change the narrative a little bit. So the last time I remember I was afraid speaking in public, when I was pushing myself to speak in public, أيام الإذاعة الصباحية هل تعلم وكذا. And then I broke that fear. When I was an international student in the US, I broke that fear. I became a public speaker, except for that time when I started as a host for the first interview. I remember I was stalling, and I was looking for excuses to postpone the kickoff of the session. But eventually it happened. It took me 5-7 minutes to settle in, and then I went with the flow.
Yeah.
To the point where, when the invitee was speaking, I went on with him, and I forgot to ask him the next question. So I was, oh yeah, I'm supposed to ask him. So yeah, that was the peak in terms of feelings. It was more of a traumatized kind of fear of taking it forward.
Well,
Traumatized.
Strong words. Yeah.
This is a big word.
Well, I'm sorry
At
to
least I saw
have
it this way.
traumatized you, but I'm sure that at the end it was a great experience.
Yeah, it was the first one. I wanted it to be perfect, just like Hannah said.
Yeah, of course.
So
of course.
it's not the point of being afraid to speak in front of people or asking the questions. It's just the feeling that you want to perfect this, rather than just go the flow, make mistakes over the session.
Right.
It's more of You just want to make it as good as the previous
Yeah.
You
ones.
want to do justice to the leader that's sitting there. You
Yeah.
you really appreciate and respect their
It's
story.
responsibility.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And part of it is really like being focused the whole time
True.
and making and listening carefully
Listening carefully.
where you pick up the next question in a way that will make it even more appealing and more exciting. So it was really like you were just focused the whole hour plus. But
True.
it
When
was,
is my
but it
line?
was
When is my
amazing.
line?
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
amazing because you get in the mood and
Yeah.
it just comes natural.
True.
Yeah.
Although none of us have a media background,
Yeah.
none of us had that experience before being a host or any of that. So it was really getting out of our comfort zone. But I'm glad that we had this opportunity to share this journey together and to share these experiences and with all this roller coaster of emotions. So now what? Now what's next? After you had this experience and the journey of co-hosting on 2030 Leaders Mike is coming to an end for you. What's next?
So I think the experience itself was outstanding, and what's next for myself when it comes to Hanan, definitely I'll be supporting 2030 Leaders, absolutely, in any way possible, whether it be attending the
ولا
sessions,
نستغنى ولا نستغنى أبداً.
through LinkedIn, making sure everybody through WhatsApp sending it. So always a supporter, definitely for 2030 Leaders Mike. I think when we were all interviewed, it was way before, like in the beginning of when 2030 Leaders kicked off and started. We've all gone through different, changes or challenges, or even more ups and downs in our personal or in professional lives. But what's next is, I would say, just continuing on giving as much as I can. Supporting 2030 Leaders in any way possible, and just continue on my personal journey in the best way that I can.
إن شاء الله الله يوفقك ويقويكي.
Yeah.
What about you, Abdullah?
Uh,
What's next?
Well, I started this journey as a way to give back to the community.
Yeah.
To the leaders, the 2030 Leaders Program. Make sure that they're well represented. Make sure that they have some light spotted on their journey and their experience, and we, no matter how much you give, you will not be satisfied. But definitely, this initiative is getting a boost in the upcoming period. So what's next is I will be in the lookout for the people who will be interviewed in the upcoming period, and hopefully you will get to cover the 90 times 10 cohorts. I think this will be
Still
1,000 people, and then you can extend this to
mashallah.
20
someone
years.
else. Oh, well,
Hey,
I mean, if you
mashallah.
do one episode every week,
Hey.
then you will get to cover them. So that's
Inshallah.
definitely something that I'll be in the lookout for, and I'll continue my support, for this platform and any other platform that I would be able to contribute to for the community and beyond, inshallah.
إن شاء الله والله ما نستغنى عنكم كلكم.
Thank
هذا بلا شك يعني.
MashaAllah, I think
Manan.
Abdullah said it so beautifully. It's very much supporting the community. It's providing that platform. And I think that was a privilege to be a part of the program, is to give people an opportunity to speak. And it's not just for them, it was for all of us to
Yeah.
learn and to benefit from. And I absolutely loved that and I appreciated it. And I think, again, my support is there. It's always there for the community, if whichever way we can, to make a greater impact for all of us, especially for our youth.
إن شاء الله يا رب. What's next?
So aside from 2030 Leaders Mike, it gave me an insight. It gave me a realization of something that I can give back. I'm making myself available unconditionally to people who seek in support. So and I picked it up from the platform, because I had people coming to me for asking for questions, whether from the episode where I was interviewed or the episodes that I interviewed people. the kind of questions and the kind of connection that was proven on screen made people come forward. I didn't realize that until later.
ما شاء الله.
Yeah.
يعني I have to say وما أقدر أعبر بصراحة إلا بالعربي يعني عن امتناني. معلش الإنجليش لا يوفي بالوصف أني أقول قد إيش أنا ممتنة وشاكرة ومقدرة لدعمكم، لثقتكم، للبليف اللي كان عندكم you know في الهدف الأساسي، في الجول، في الميشن you know. And this is exactly you know how it reflects, and I'm so appreciative of this, and the fact that you are continuously supporting and willing to continue supporting. يعني هذا نشان الحقيقة على الصدر، وهذه سمة من سمات القائد صراحة يعني، ومو بغريب عليكم صراحة. فيعني I really thank you for it. I really thank you for it from the bottom of my heart. طيب, so one last thing. We were always, you know, all these discussions, when we finished the sessions, we also were asking the guests, we were asking the attendees for their feedback, right? يعني, how was the session? What do you think? How can we improve? Well, you know, but we wanted honest feedback. So we were getting positive, we were getting negative feedbacks, and we were getting suggestions as well. Let's share some of this, يعني, some of the feedback that we were getting. It's okay, we can.
So
يعني,
there is theory.
we know.
You want to start?
يعني,
You can go ahead. You
we
can get
had
this one,
humble
Mohammed.
beginnings. We had humble beginnings. We were improvising a lot. يعني our systems and equipments were again, as we said, we were not, none of us are production house. Personally, my background nor my company is a production house. يعني we bought the simplest equipments, the simplest يعني mobile cameras, شوية pods, audio systems, يعني the simplest basic that you know we could do this podcast, and we kept on adding then some equipments, مدري إيش mixer for the يعني still, and who were working on it again was not تخصص. So definitely we knew that there was space for improvement, and يعني but I'd like to hear what was the feedback that you were receiving and the things that you yourselves knew and wanted.
No, I think it's a very good question, Dina, because I think it's a reflection of any leader. You know, a leader doesn't start with the perfect tools and the perfect environment and the perfect lighting and all of that.
A startup.
Yeah. And I mean, and if you reflect, Steve Jobs, where did he start? You know, let's
a
be
real startup,
honest.
يعني, in the garage.
It's exactly. So it's the beginning of, inshallah, something much better to come. And we know now, bi'idhnillah, يعني, the next setup is going to be a reflection of the feedback that we were receiving from the leaders.
Which was the feedback? What was the feedback?
Some of it was the setup, some of it was the lighting.
Go ahead.
يعني وكان في two group of people, the people who were interviewed and the people who were trying to get them to be interviewed. So the people who were interviewed, they came happily, they contributed, but they were, some of them, not all of them, they were surprised. يعني, are we using a mobile phone? It's an unpaid advertisement for mobile phones, by the way. They're not good.
It did the job.
They did the job. They did the job. And there is the group of the people who were not interviewed. They were complaining. They wanted a better setup. They wanted a proper studio because they've done podcasts before. And it was literally kind of a condition for them to come and come forward as a guest to be in a proper setup, a proper podcast.
Well, if we reflect honestly on the experience, there were a lot of comments and a lot of feedback that was addressed, maybe not noticeable to many people, but also there was some feedback that was not addressed due to, you know, resources allocated to this initiative. The setup, and probably this is going to change, you know, moving forward, to realize really good improvements. But one of the point that kept in mind and repeated by multiple people was to unify the language. Are we English speaking podcast or Arabic speaking podcast? And focus on the audience that you want to address. Who are the audience, so that you narrate and design the whole dialogue accordingly. So this is a feedback that we probably as hosts try to somehow cover based on the person that we're interviewing, because some people are very particular about very few things. Others are okay to go with the major themes, and maybe addressing them in the future would be okay.
You often actually said that was the feedback that you got. Yet, we had many guests that said, أنا أبغى interviewكم بالعربي, purely. So we would interview in Arabic. And others were saying, I feel more comfortable expressing myself in English. So the interview was in English. And others that are very bilingual, so the first sentence that comes to their mind in any language is what they were using. And I think exactly that is what gave the people the comfort to express themselves the way they feel like expressing themselves. And that's how the spontaneity started coming out, and the genuinity and the stories. So I think that it's fair enough that it's not language buried. It's not either English or either Arabic. يعني بنحاول إن إحنا يكون it's the mix of the comfort of the guest at the end of the day. And let's say majority of the viewers of this program are also bilingual.
No, but I think on this note, it's fair to say, I do recall very well with Abdullah, and you gave really good feedback. You said what's most important is that they speak in the language that makes them comfortable. And I think that's what we ended up doing was, you're right, some people spoke both, some people preferred to speak in one language. But I'd love to see maybe in what's to come, if it's going to be whatever it ends up being, is there should be like a transcription of whichever language you want to, I think that would be a good add-on, because many people
Absolutely.
wanted to really they don't speak English or they don't speak Arabic.
مظبوط.
International.
True.
People who were listening and wanted to really see the interviews and
True.
couldn't really have the opportunity to understand because of language barriers. So
True.
that would be just a recommendation maybe further.
And maybe
Absolutely.
a comment from me, but knowing my love and my passion towards inclusion is that Arabic Sign Language would also be amazing.
Oh, okay, wow, that's a new one. Let's see about that. Okay, that's a new feedback.
It can be cut, but this is, I had to say it.
Okay, well, the beauty is that we did listen. We listened to all the feedback.
Excellent.
And we have been working, we've all been working. And Abdullah rightly said that there were improvements that maybe some people did not notice, but we were improving even at the time, trying our best, as from the feedback that we received before. And now, I think we are happy to say that we are taking 2030 Leaders Mic to a new level. I partnered with Pod Media Network. They are a production house, a very renowned in the kingdom and beyond. They're in the MENA region. They're in Jeddah, Riyadh, Sharqiya, in Bahrain, in Dubai, in Cairo, mashallah. And we are going to make sure that the leaders get the high quality production that they deserve from all the aspects that were covered, including the transcription.
Excellent.
So there will
Alhamdulillah.
be English, Arabic transcription, and to add to that, we have also all the previous 72 sessions, episodes that have been done, have been taken, have been clarified the sound, and has been uploaded on Spotify, on Apple Podcast, and on Anagami. So now we are also audio. Okay, so you're going to be able to enjoy it on your road traffic jams, and it's gonna make the traffic a bit lighter. So that's one. And also we are adding TikTok, we're adding Instagram, we're adding other social media platforms where there are going to be reels, there are going to be, snippets from the interviews. So there's a lot, actually, not a lot, let me say, I think, if not 100%, 98% of the feedback will be now the season 4 and ongoing of 2030 Leaders Mic, inshallah.
Inshallah.
And on that note, I think that we, all of us, collaboratively want to give a heartfelt thank to every guest that joined us on this journey from the beginning. And your stories are the heart of 2030 Leaders Mic. Also, a big appreciation to everyone that physically attended. The attendees, which were also from the leaders, their attending, it enriched the discussions. Their questions, there was always an added value, and it gave an extra flavor to the discussion. So we also thank you there very much, and we hope that continues. There's a big shout out, obviously, to our incredible venue sponsors, Brandship and Tanaffas Cafe in the beginning, and then Jeddah Yacht Club and Mukatafa later on. And thank you for believing in our vision and continuously supporting us. Last but not least, we want to thank Yasser Semeder, the soldier behind the scene that was hassling with all of these little cameras that we talked about, and all the audio and the lighting. And so يعني يعطيك العافية ياسر، حقيقي كنت الجندي المجهول، ومقدرين وشاكرين دعمك وعملك معنا. And lastly, I will also give gratitude to CES Consulting for being the financial sponsor for 2030 Leaders Mic from day one, and inshallah continuing. So all of this was just the beginning. Inshallah, the next chapter is about building on the impact, expanding our learnings and connections, and continuing to share the voices of the extraordinary, uncommon leaders shaping the future of Saudi Arabia. يعطيكم العافية.
Thank you.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
شكراً لك
Thank
very
you.
much.